Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Nine Knives, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Wasteland 3, as we officially embark upon our final adventure. We're pretty much done with Steeltown at this point, aside from one special follow-up event. So it's time to head back to base, pick up the pet pals, swap back over to real weapons, and set our sights on the Cult of Holy Detonation, which should be interesting. Once again, I have not played this in advance, I have no idea what's coming, but I have been told that apparently it's very different than what the pre-launch material implied it was going to be. So I am curious to see exactly where it landed. Let's go find out.
Rangers, come in. This is the Patriarch. I'm hearing rumors from Steeltown, but nothing concrete. How did it go?
Oh, you know. Turned out there were a couple of kinks in the production line, but we got those straightened out. Things should be going back to normal.
Glad to hear it. Abigail has been a staunch ally, and I'm glad you were able to help me help her. With her at the helm, Steeltown will guarantee Colorado's future.
Wow, plus 10 with the Marshals.
Anything else to report?
Yeah, we found a guy in a bear suit who seems to think he's a real bear. I don't suppose you know anything about that?
Stop wasting my time with nonsense.
Look, it gave me the option to ask you about it, so I asked you about it. I was curious. Don't bite my head off. Oh, I should also mention that Markham's new computer system was running off of repurposed synths. So, that happened.
Synths? What the hell is Markham doing messing with them? Those things are dangerous. What did you do?
Oh, that may not have been the best idea, bringing that up. You know, we took care of it. Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
I guess I'll have to take your word for it. But I'll want to hear more about this later. Synths are never good news.
Oh, give me a break. You don't even know what synths are. You haven't mentioned them once the entire game. But yeah, that's everything. Situation normal.
Very well, Rangers. Carry on. Buchanan out.
Nice. And I think that's pretty much it for Steeltown. Aside from the impending attack event, of course. And I see we hit loved with the Marshals. That's unexpected. So in theory, if we really wanted to, we could now pursue the November Rains ending. Nice to know they made that slightly more viable. You no longer have to rely entirely on just arresting people for the Marshals now. Anyway, let's get back to base, pick up the pet pals, and see if we can trigger this second DLC. We should get a radio call about it at some point.
Rangers, this is Theo Curie. I hope you remember me. I believe we met while I was working on the walls of Colorado Springs.
Theo, yeah, I remember you. You were loitering out in front of the Arapaho garage. I think I even commented on how you had blatantly unfinished content. What's up, buddy?
How would you like to help me assure the future of Colorado Springs? You see, I've found documents that suggest there's a powerful energy source in a forgotten military complex nearby. And if we could find it, we might be able to harness it.
Oh, that certainly sounds promising. So where is this military base exactly? I don't suppose it's the old Air Force training base just north of us.
Apparently about 8 miles southwest of Colorado Springs. I have heard rumors of explorers searching for it in the past. No records of any ever returning, however.
Oh, interesting. Southwest. That would put it out towards the placeholder location for the NORAD collective, where we were supposed to encounter the Faders, the albino super soldiers who ended up getting cut out of the game. I wonder if they worked them back in. Though I suppose that also bodes ill for the unfinished Air Force training base content. So this place is dangerous, huh?
That's unknown. There was one image, very blurry, that showed some kind of small greenish creature in a cell. But the photo was taken before the war. It could hardly still be alive today, could it?
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. So, tell us more about this energy source.
The documents suggest it was an experiment in cold fusion or something. Anyhow, the logs at the time recorded it as a success. I want to discover if it's still running.
And how exactly did you come across this information?
Among items recovered by scavengers from a long-buried military convoy was a rucksack containing classified documents from before the war. They brought them to me.
Well, color me intrigued. So, what exactly do you want us to do?
Your enthusiasm is so refreshing. I was hoping you would accompany me to the base and secure it so I could study the power source and, hopefully, route its power to Colorado Springs. I'm heading there now to assess the situation. The documents contained access codes that should open the outer doors of the complex, which goes by the name of Cheyenne Mountain. Will you join me?
Wow, so they are moving it over to the Cheyenne Mountain location. That is unexpected. In the old cut content I went through, they originally had a lot of plot threads that were supposed to resolve out at the Air Force training base. I guess that's just not happening now. Huh. Yeah, we'll be there. I mean, what, are we not going to do the DLC?
Excellent! You have the location, so I'll see you there. Theo Curie out.
That's probably normal. But yeah, we now have our official quest to go tackle the Cult of Holy Detonation, which is in a slightly different venue than I was expecting, but that's fine. Oh wow, that's not even the same location I thought it would be. Interesting. Originally, based on my research, I assumed it was going to be up north, near the, right near that arrow, where the old Air Force training base cathedral is. They've even got a placeholder on the map, so the fact that it's unused as well is very odd. But I suppose things change during development, and obviously they didn't cut out all the placeholders. I mean, we've still got stuff referring to the Everest. On the bright side, I suppose this does keep me guessing, so that's good.
Anyone object to me taking this little doohickey home? It's broke, but I think I could tinker with it.
Wouldn't be the first time you took home a piece of trash.
Hey, you leave my personal life out of this.
You kids ought to go on the stage.
Okay then. Yeah, so let's hit the pause button real quick. I'll go scout for new reactivity, and round up the pet pals. Be right back.
Commander, Private Handcraft reporting for duty. I am both mad stoked and fully honored to join your most judicious crew. What can I do for you?
Well, Handcraft, it is fantastic to have you here. So, what do you think of the place? Share your thoughts on Ranger HQ.
Maximum stimulating. So many different people, and none of them spend all their time planning revenge against Markham.
Well, that is an unusual way to put it. I never really thought of Blue as being obsessed with vengeance. Though I suppose his gang would be. I mean, they were clearly disenfranchised workers, which really does kind of highlight the disconnect between Blue's synth obsession and the rest of the Ghost Gang. You know, based on material I've seen since I recorded those episodes, I think Blue's original goal was actually to steal from Markham, so he could start his own worker-friendly factory.
And bro, even better, they're all working together to the common goal of a better Colorado. Most excellent.
Most excellent indeed. How are you getting on with the Marshals?
Haha, bros think they can lift. They keep asking to arm wrestle. I keep being undefeated. Doug Parker has visited me to express his greatest displeasure with the number of patients following a tournament. But not giving my bros my all would just make my team think I'm not fully committed to them.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I tell myself when I light my squad on fire. Oh, nice, and you sell stuff too.
Check it, bro!
Okay. So nothing all that fancy, but a nice source of basic crafting ingredients. I might actually get some use out of this. We can, well... Yeah, I might make some weapon mods.
Oh, Miss Hackett. I should have thought of it earlier. My apologies. And I'm enjoying it myself.
Careful now. Such luxuries weaken moral fiber.
You know me too well, Miss Hackett.
Oh, you guys. I'm not seeing Ludlow. I think they may have forgotten to place him, because we clearly had this empty cell. Actually, that might be where Liberty goes. I'd have to double check that. That's a shame, though. I was hoping to poke fun at him.
Oh, hey, hi again. What can I do for you?
Well, I was hoping you'd have new dialogue, but I guess not.
Later, dudes, and don't forget to think about getting this door.
What can I do for you?
Ludlow abused his authority to safeguard his charges, and is unrepentant of what he did. He is everything I strive to not be, Rangers. Justice is truly served by him being locked up here, though I am already sick to shit, pardon my language, of him explaining how much better I could be doing my job. Cruel, small people that inflate themselves on the authority that they have scraped together cannot allow themselves to see what they really are. I think he'll be here for a while.
Well, that is weird.
Good luck out there.
So, yeah, clearly Ludlow was supposed to spawn in here somewhere, he just didn't. I really feel like they could have done a better job with the post-DLC reactivity. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the DLC characters are all supposed to show up here if you arrest them. Because I think Liberty shared a cell with Valor.
Rangers, this is Abigail Markham. I told you this day would come, and it has. A scavenging party of payasos, godfishers, and scar collectors is within striking distance of Steeltown. We've done what we can to prepare for the assault, but we need your help if we're going to survive this. Get here ASAP or we're SOL. Mark 'em out.
Wow, okay. That happened a whole lot faster than I thought it would. Which is fine, I guess, because it lets us wrap up our last Steeltown thread before we really jump into the next one. It is kind of a shame, though, because I was hoping to swing by the massacre site so we could grab that honey badger for Ian. I had to reconfigure the pet pals a bit anyway, since we can't stack them the same way we did before. But, that's fine. We'll grab the badger after. Back to Steeltown. Suspicious activity. As the Kodiak rumbles down the trail, a human form flashes out of the wilderness, then spins on its heels and retreats when it sees you. Tracking the figure as it flees, you spot a sputtering campfire and a small group of scraggly refugees squatting around it. The runner reaches the fire and the group looks toward the Kodiak, fear glimmering in their eyes. A woman stands.
Are you the Rangers? That crew out of Arizona? My cousin saw your truck rolling out of Peterson. Told me about it at our last trading rendezvous.
Yeah, that's us. And you are?
We're just some travelers, looking for a place to settle. Used to live out near Las Animas until the Godfishers came to visit. Colorado Springs ain't got space or supplies. Everywhere else, folk try to kill you on sight. We keep roaming, but we got even less food than hope. Frankly, we're starving.
I have heard of this event, but I have never seen it fire before. From what I understood, it was very broken. It's supposed to be a chain of events, but something about the way it's implemented prevents you from progressing past the first one or two. Well, I'll tell you what. Lucia here is our resident huntress. I'm sure she can teach you a thing or two.
That help, Rangers. Truly help. We were farmers until a few weeks ago. We're clever, but we never had to live like nomads before.
You show them how to build blinds, take measures of the wind, and account for any number of variables when taking aim. Their simple rifles will work for small game, and the refugees are eager to test their new skills. You return to the Kodiak. Huh. I'll tell you what. Slight change of plans here. I think we have a unique opportunity to actually follow through with this. I just need to go look up how we can circumvent the bug that prevents it from firing properly. We'll be right back. Just past a crumbling pre-deluge gas station, you spot a group of people huddled around a wheelless car, enjoying a meal. Familiar faces look up and smile at the Kodiak. This is the same group of refugees you encountered and helped before. They've got a small deer roasting on a spit, and look less gaunt than before.
Ah, Rangers! Hal, it's great to see you again. We've been having good luck catching game since you taught us your tricks. Amazing how loud an empty belly can be. Everything got quieter when you fill it. Only thing is...
Yeah, what's the problem this time?
God, I hate asking for help from you again. But you've guessed right. We got a new problem. Every scrap of firewood we found lately is contaminated. Burn it, and a green fog coughs up out of the pit. If we go much longer without heat, some of us are going to start freezing in our sleep.
Well, gosh, I think we can, in fact, help you with that. Long way, you mind helping these fine folks set up some portable heaters? Maybe stave off hypothermia for a while?
Holy hell, Rangers. I've never seen anyone so at home in the wastes. And generous with your knowledge, too.
In short order, the engine is purring. While you work, you show the refugees its inner workings and how to repair it. With gas siphoned from the station tanks, they'll be warm for quite some time. Nice, let's see if we can keep this going.
Help! Anyone! Please!
You screech to a halt as a woman runs in front of the Kodiak, almost getting pasted across the trail. You recognize her face, the refugee whose group you've encountered twice before.
Rangers? Oh, Jesus, it's good to see you. You gotta help us.
Calm down. What's going on?
4 of my guys are out hunting hare when an ice sheet over a ravine gave way. They fell. 2 died. The other 2 are alive, but just barely. One put a tree root through his midsection. The other broke his leg and both arms. Closest thing we have to a medic is an old lady who thinks she's a witch. Just bad at mixing cocktails, in my opinion.
Let's have a look at him. Maybe Sergeant Bonkers can help.
You're the best, Rangers. This way.
She leads you down a narrow path between trees until you reach a sheet of snow, broken in just one place. The refugee group crowds around their injured kin, pulled up to the top of the cracked precipice. Even without medical training, you know that these 2 are far beyond saving. Their injuries and blood loss are too severe. Ah, that's a shame. I'm sorry, it's too late for these 2, but we can ease their passing. We'll also have Bonkers give you a few pointers just in case something like this happens again.
Oh. You're probably right, Rangers. We'll give their families some time to bury them before we move on. Thank you for whatever you can do.
You administer some pain relievers and whiskey, helping the injured hunters rest easier as they drift away. In the meantime, you teach the others to dress wounds, tie splints and tourniquets, and sterilize tools. An improvised funeral is starting as you gather your things and load back into the Kodiak. The crack of a sniper rifle rings across the canyon you're crossing. A moment later, a streak passes the windshield from above, and a human body smears across the snow in front of you. From a shallow cave on the west wall of the canyon, you hear a now familiar voice, the leader of the refugees you've run into several times.
Rangers? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. You've got to help us. There's a lunatic trying to eat us.
I'm sorry, someone's trying to eat you?
Yes. I don't know why he chose us. Before we met you, he would have taken us all out, no question. The only reason we've escaped him this long is because of everything you've taught us. But he's still out there. He keeps ranting and raving, saying something about bread before he attacks. And he's gone before we can react. I don't know how he keeps disappearing.
Bread? I feel like that's a reference to something, but I have no idea what. Okay, well, Dull, looks like you're up. Why don't you go ahead and show these fine folks how to be, silent but deadly.
That sounds like a great idea. If we can move undetected, we can stay safe long term.
You show the refugees how to make silent moves and cover their trails. A few catch on quickly and climb the side of the canyon, surrounding the hunter.
Fee, fi, fo, fum! I smell the blood of an Englishman! I'll grind your bones to make my breath!
Oh, of course. How could I have not gotten a Jack and the Beanstalk reference? It's so hip and modern. A bedraggled corpse holding a barely functional rifle tumbles from the canyon wall. The refugee scourge was barely more than a refugee himself. Still, your students learned with surprising alacrity.
We're safe. And more thanks to you. With what you've taught us, we can carve a life in the wild. No more depending on the kindness of strangers. Goodbye, Rangers.
An eerie quiet settles across the landscape as you drive. Electricity dances along the hairs on your neck, heightening your attention when a flare pops directly ahead. The flare momentarily washes out your vision. A form steps in front of the light.
Good to see you again, Rangers.
The woman who leads the refugees you've encountered several times resolves as your eyesight returns. But she looks different. Beyond the patchwork of scar collector and martial armor, her bearing is that of an entirely different person. What's the problem? Y'all in danger again?
Danger? Probably, but we've learned to live with that. See, we really took in those lessons you taught us. We hunted, we rebuilt machines, we revived our bodies, we stayed in the shadows, we conquered fear. In doing so, let us take what we needed to survive. Then, we realized there's only one way to perfect our skills, to ensure we can beat any enemy, prove ourselves against the ones who taught us. Get ready, Rangers. This warning is a courtesy.
Well, that's not great. We could take these guys down, but, let's try talking this out. So, you really think you know everything there is to surviving?
We've hijacked marshal patrols, killed Godfisher raiding bands, even knocked off some robots we found scavenging. We're masters of our domain out here. What else could there be?
Oh, interesting. So we could take several different routes here. But, let's go with the most obvious one. Well, have you, thought of maybe not becoming murder hobos?
And you teach us how to become part of a society.
Yeah, we'll certainly try, but the point here is that you're better off working with people than stripping them for parts.
Okay. At ease, everyone. We'll do it your way. You've been right about everything else. But we're not going to be pupils anymore. We'll observe you. But we need to do our own exploring, too.
The other refugees emerge from the wilderness, falling in behind their leader. In a few moments, they're gone again down the road. Huh. Not much closure. I wonder if there's more. Fallen trees and rubble mostly obscure this collapsed bunker. You could get in, if you were willing to crawl on your hands and knees. From the look of it, someone or something has been doing just that. You spot numerous scratches on rocks and logs around the bunker. Something, or many of the somethings, have been sharpening their talons. However, there's no fresh signs of activity around the bunker entrance. Crawling into the bunker, you spot signs of animals nesting, including boxes torn apart for bedding. A few boxes in this bunker remain untouched. There are other rooms, but the doors are locked. Despite being behind locked doors, the elements have permeated this storeroom. You pick through the containers for unspoiled goods and gather them up. Luckily, you were fast enough and quiet enough to be in and out before whatever lives here came home. A quick and easy haul. Nice. Not quite what I was looking for, but I'm certainly not complaining about free loot. And yeah, it does appear that that's it for the refugee chain. I've been all over the map and there's no more camp events to trigger. Apparently the problem with that whole chain is that it spawns all 5 parts at once. So unless you do them all in one go like we just did, any parts you haven't done will vanish the next time you leave the world map. But I'm glad we saw that. I've never explored it before. Now let's go wrap things up with a big old gunfight.
You see what you get when you mess with the warlords of the plains, Rangers?
I'm really glad Bug isn't mixed up in this.
Acquiring targets.
You came to our aid in our hour of need, Rangers. Now we come to yours.
Ghost Gang forever! We've got your backs, Rangers!
Rangers, you made it. Glad to see you. We've held them off so far, but you can turn the tide. Let them know you're here.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Really?
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's bride, from every mountainside that freedom rings. Our fathers died to thee, author of liberty. To thee we sing. Long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light. Protect us by thy might, great God our King. The land
Well, certainly not their catchiest cover, but sure, why not?
Sky Gods!
I almost feel bad for these guys. Almost. Yeah, let's not overextend.
Gods of the sky, cloak me! My enemies are bare! The gods will hide.
Yeah, I don't see this going well for them.
You should be benevolent.
Soon I will have their flank. Die, wretched vermin!
Gods of the sky, cloak me! My enemies are bare!
Well, perhaps I spoke too soon.
You're looking for a fight! And down the face! Deploying energy field! Fire shield engaged! Fire shield up! Circle around us!
Для нас нет преград. Бей насмерть.
Major Tom back in action.
Put me at him.
So yeah, I did end up leaving like half the pet pals back at base. Sadly, we just don't have enough slots for them anymore. We can't stack the way we did pre-patch. But that's just as well, because they've nerfed several of them. Even if we did have the full zoo crew here, it would really just be slowing things down. Moving up. Oh, are we done? Are we all out of music? Oh, nope.
My country, 'tis of thee. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's bride, from every mountain.
Here I go. Oh, what's this radio?
Where's your focus? Soon I will have their place.
That's ready, Jingo? Let's show them how it's done.
Line sensors nothing. Rough. We're located with us. Approaching hostiles.
Oh, no, I don't like that. Please, please don't. Stop helping.
Для нас нет преград.
So who gets the kill? Waste Wolf? Oh no, it's Gun Bunny. Yeah, that seems fitting.
Thank you, Rangers. Steeltown would have died today if you hadn't shown up. Great work. Let me give you something to show our gratitude.
I feel like you would have actually been okay without us, but you know what? That's fine. I am happy to take credit and a reward. They breathe a sigh of relief, glancing at the battlefield. It could have been much worse. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, the only reason so many people showed up to help us with this fight was because of how we resolved the main quest.
Thanks again, Rangers.
Okay, I guess that's it. I was expecting slightly more fanfare, or at least some sort of unique reward. But we'll take our 20 tellurium steel and build 1/5 of a weapon with it. Glad to see our efforts are so appreciated. Alright, folks. Well, I think we're at a good stopping point, so let's hit the pause button for now. Not quite what I had planned for today's session, but I'm okay with that, because we saw a lot of stuff I've never seen before. Not to mention, we also seem to have picked up at least 1 or 2 levels, so that's not too shabby. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll do a quick lap around Steeltown, just to poke around for any additional reactivity we might have. And we will pick up here next time, as we officially embark upon the Cult of Holy Detonation. One last nightmare for the road. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Wasteland 3, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
Guess I'll have to take your word for it. But I'll want to hear more about this later.